Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one of our summer series, virtual series, our webinars. We have just been rolling through these with lots of different guests, and I think tonight is going to be a pretty exciting one. My name is Tara Stevenson. I serve as the Interim Vice President of Student Affairs here at Flagler College, and I am joined by some familiar faces and a new face for you all if you've been with us since June. But just a couple housekeeping items before I let our guests introduce themselves. We have been recording all of these webinars and they are posted to the Flagler College YouTube channel. We have a specific playlist there for all of these. And so if you wanted to review back or look at some of the other ones that you may have missed, those are all living there. And then each week when your student receives a newsletter, we're also putting a link in there for them as well. But tonight, we really wanted to focus on what move-in day was going to look like. We know that that is fast and furious coming on up with tomorrow bringing August, but we know that it also can come with a lot of questions, a lot of nerves, a lot of apprehension, and so we wanted to bring the experts to come and chat with you. As a reminder, we do have the Q&A up, and so we'll be monitoring that. So if you've got questions for our speakers throughout, make sure that you put them in there, and we'll be sure to ask them throughout the time. But let's go ahead and introduce who we've got tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Adams Manning, but everyone on campus calls me Dr. Dre because I'm cool like that, you know. I am the Dean of Students here at Flagler College and I've been with Flagler College for just over 2 years now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Don Garbaccio. I'm the Director for Residence Life. I've been at Flagler for about 3 years now. I'm also class of 2016. So I was here a few years ago, lived on campus my entire career, and now happy to serve on the other end of the desk.
Good evening, everybody. I am Rashay Carter, and I am the Assistant Director for Residence Life. And I have been here a year. July 8th made a year, so yay.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, love it, love it. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in on the overview of move-in.
Yeah, so we're really excited to welcome everyone home. Families, we're excited to welcome you to campus for move-in day. I know it's going to be a fun day, a stressful day, an emotional day, a day to feel all the feelings, but that's what it's there for. And so move-in day, as a reminder, is Friday, August 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. Now, we do have different move-in slots. We have 5 slots, and students were emailed what slot they are assigned to. They will be receiving this email again tomorrow.
Good to know.
So they will get a follow-up, and it goes to their Flagler email addresses. So the time slots are really broken down by what floor and what building they live in. I will go over them right now, but again, they'll receive this in an email tomorrow. Sometimes I know a visual is better. And so the first slot, which is 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m., that's when we're going to welcome our residents of FEC A and B towers, the 1st and 4th floors, as well as Ponce Hall, our 1st and 3rd floor. Then 10:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. we'll welcome FEC A and B towers, the 2nd and 3rd floors, as well as our 2nd floor of Ponce. Moving into the afternoon from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m., we will start to welcome our Cedar 3rd floor residents, and we'll round out Ponce with the Ponce lobby. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:45 p.m., we will welcome home our residents of Cedar 1st and 2nd floor, so rounding up our Cedar and starting at our Lewis with the 3rd floor. And then our final time slot of the day, 3 p.m. to 4:15 p.m., we will round out Lewis with the 1st and 2nd floor. And then any students who are transfer students, living in Abear, any floor, FEC, any floor, Sebastian House, they will come at that slot as well.
And so know that students have received that already in their Flagler email. They're going to receive another reminder tomorrow. Perhaps we could maybe even connect with our family portal to put it up there as a reminder once our students have gotten that information.
And in that email, they will also have their room number as a reminder.
Really important. So then they know exactly what time slot they're coming to.
Yes.
All right. So what is like the next big thing that we want to make sure our families know about?
Yeah, so move-in day. We have what we're calling the one-stop shop. And so this is going to be in our Ringhaver Student Center. And so if you came to a roar-up session, if you've been on an admissions tour recently, that's the main building that you started all your tours in, where you've met for sign-in. And so the goal of this is not only for you to get your residence hall key, but it's also for you to connect with a multitude of offices across campus. And so the offices that will be there, obviously Residence Life will be there. This is where you'll get your key. So you won't go to your hall to get your key, you'll come to the Student Center. We will have our security office there. They will be making student ID, so if you didn't get your student ID at a roar-up session, you'll also be able to get it here. It is vital you get it on move-in day, because after move-in day is over, you will need it to get into the residence halls. You'll also need it for your dining dollars, for your meal swipes, to get into pretty much any building on campus. So it's vital you get it that move-in day. We'll have our parking office here, and so if you are bringing a vehicle to campus and you've registered it online and purchased a parking decal, you can get that parking decal right here on move-in day. We will have our case office. They are the ones who help with registration for courses, help with your course schedules your first semester, and they are where your academic advisors are as well. So if you have any questions for your academic advisors, your schedule, any of that, it will be here that day. We'll have a representative from our Learning Resource Center, which is our free student tutoring. So it's tutoring for students by students. They'll be here to talk about the services they offer, what subjects, and where you can find their services on campus. We'll have a representative for Lewis to Chatbot. Lewis to Chatbot is a chatbot service we use to communicate with our students for different campaigns or to just check in, see how they're doing. Lewis, our mascot, loves to make sure our students are doing well. So we'll have someone here to talk about his chatbot. We'll have our IT department. The reason we have our IT department is if you are bringing a video game, a smart TV, a Roku, any of that, you do have to register it on our network services. So if you bring the MAC address to that device, here, IT will help you register it day of, so you're not in your room trying to figure out what to do. They're going to walk you through the forms and help approve it right then and there. So when you go to move in and you set it up with the Wi-Fi, it's already connected to our
Ready to game.
service.
Ready to go.
Our admissions team will be here. It's always nice to connect with your admissions counselor that you have started to build that relationship with. And although we're transitioning away from that one-on-one daily interaction with them, it's nice for them to be here to answer any last-minute questions you have, as well as to really see you transition to that next stage of being a student here. We will have our student accounts and our financial aid offices here. So if you have questions about financial aid, or if you need to still sign up for the payment plan or address any outstanding balance, they will be here to help on private one-on-one consultations with families and students. We will have a representative for our Saints Connect. Saints Connect is our go-to server for all events and programming on campus. If you want to know what's happening that day, that's where you go. That's how you can find out if events are co-curricular. You can see where they are and just really stay engaged with our campus community. There's like a feed where you can post looking for friends or looking for roommates, any of that. Saints Connect is there for. And then we will have our student health services there. So if you have any questions for student health services, they will be here. And if you also need to finalize uploading your immunization records, they will also be here to assist with that. And then finally, for our families, we will have our Family Leadership Council here overseeing a family lounge. And so family members, you could take a step away, relax, talk with other family members about what it's like here on campus, as a family member, as a parent, as a guardian, sibling, aunt, uncle, all of that, and be in that family only space. And so, again, I know this is being recorded. We'll send out more information about the one stop, but as you can see, all of campus is really coming together for this one stop. But what does that mean? What do you expect when you walk in? And so when students are greeted, when families are greeted, you're gonna walk into the main entrance of the student center. And if I need to get my key right away, you're gonna go right upstairs. The first person you'll interact with up there will be a representative from Student Accounts and Financial Aid. They will verify that you don't have a balance or anything that you need to discuss with them prior. As long as you're cleared through them, we will go to the Virginia room. And so this is where family members, you are going to be apart from your student for a little bit. And so students will go into the Virginia room to get their key, their parking pass, and their ID. This is a student-only space. While families, you will go into that family lounge, which is literally right across. You can see the two rooms, you won't be far from them, but we want to make sure you have your time with family members. Students, we want to make sure you have time to ask questions of our RAs and to really get that key and enjoy that experience as a student.
With those parking passes, is that to pick up if they've already purchased it? If they want to purchase a new one? I could see maybe where we might get some questions on like, oh, well, the person who's going to pay is in the family lounge.
Yeah, so this is mostly to pick up the parking passes.
Okay.
We will send a link in our one-stop shop email with a link to the parking permit website as well. So you can
Okay.
pre-purchase them. If you do need to purchase it the day of, what parking will have you do is go meet up with your family member, complete the forms online because it's all online, and then you'll be able to go back in to get your parking
Okay,
pass.
so maybe some homework to do
Yeah.
before. Okay.
So after you have picked up your key, you'll go into the Virginia room, you'll pick up your key first. That is when you'll either go to the parking or the student ID, depending if you need one, both, neither. And then you will leave the Virginia room, you'll meet back with your family members. This will be your opportunity now to explore those other offices we mentioned, which will all be downstairs. And so it's a little bit away from the crowd of the Virginia room. It gives you an opportunity to chat with them one-on-one, have those conversations. After you are all finished with the one-stop shop, you've picked up your keys, you've talked to your offices, you've registered your devices, that is when you'll transition into moving into your actual residence hall, which Rashay will talk about shortly. But the most important thing I want to mention for the one-stop shop is you can arrive to the one-stop shop 45 minutes prior to your move-in time. And so if your move-in time is 9 a.m., we will open the doors at 8:15 a.m. And so that is when you'll be able to start going in. What that means is if you're in the afternoon, one, you don't have to rush to get here. If you're at that 3 p.m. slot, you don't have to be here at 9 a.m. And two, we're also asking that you please do wait until the 45 minutes before, just so that we have a good and manageable size of individuals coming in. We did it specifically that way to ensure that everyone has that one-on-one attention they deserve to answer any questions without that overcrowding of a building. And so
I know we've got some questions coming in, which is great. And I know, Rashay, you're going to really dive into what kind of things are going to look like after the one-stop shop. Some questions that we've had come through, and I apologize if this is already in your script, is what are the logistics to park and get to the one-stop shop before they've entered into that building? And then we do have some other questions about, Rashay, what you're going to chat about.
Yeah. So Rashay is actually going to oversee the parking for the one-stop shop. So I will let her go over that during her section. But we do have parking very close to the student center. And Rashay will go over that. But are there any questions? Sorry, I can't read the screen that for the one-stop that I can answer now.
Yeah, we actually have quite a few questions about, I think there was some confusion about IT and what it meant to register a device. And so the question is like, do they need to bring their laptops? Do they need to bring their PC? Do they need to, is it, what, I guess talk a little bit more about what they should expect or what they should be doing.
Yeah, so laptops, tablets, computers, desktops, and phones, those are fine. They will connect to the Wi-Fi, just like you connect to the Wi-Fi at the house. It's really the gaming devices, it is the smart TVs, the smart electronics that need to be, you know, put on the IT server. But phones, laptops, tablets, all of that, you'll be able to connect via your login on the FC campus.
So really, it's only those gaming devices that need registration with a particular, this is where I am not going to be technologically savvy in my language, but those units that are outside of the norm that typically easily
Mhm.
connect with Wi-Fi.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and all of our residence halls do have Wi-Fi.
Yes, all of our residence halls do have Wi-Fi, as well as our entire campus. So if you're walking between residence halls and you're on your phone, you will still be connected to the Wi-Fi.
Okay. And so that should hopefully answer a lot of those questions that we won't need students and families to lug in laptops or
Mhm.
iPads or anything like that to chat and register with IT.
And I will say, you don't need to bring your TVs, your gaming devices, you just need that MAC address to it.
Okay,
So
okay.
write down the
Good.
MAC address, bring that to the IT department, and they will be able to assist you in registering them on the spot.
Okay, okay. And when connecting to the Wi-Fi for Flagler, how do students do that? And then do we have anything in place yet for families to connect their own devices just during that day?
Yeah, so students, you will connect via your Flagler login credentials. So when you try to select the FC campus, it's going to pull up a please log in with your so-and-so at flagler.edu, and then you'll use your same password like you're logging into your email, your My Flagler, anything for Flagler. Families, we will have a guest Wi-Fi set up for that day, so that you can connect to the Wi-Fi for the day.
Okay. And then the only question is, I know we've got some families with athletes that are joining us tonight. And so the one-stop shop is only going to be on the 23rd.
Mhm.
But for athlete move-in, they should be receiving information separately.
Yes, they received an email last week from me. If they are an approved early arrival, we do receive the list from the coaches. And so if your student did not receive an email and they are an athlete, they were not on the list for approved early arrivals. And so unless they have that email, they should expect to arrive on the 23rd. And the early arrivals, whether they're athletes, whether they're, I know we have some teacher education students, they come to the student center as well to pick up the key between the hours of 9 and 5, and we'll be here to meet them. If there is something they need to meet with student accounts or financial aid about, they will also be on campus that day, and we'll guide them to their offices on those days.
Okay. All right, I think I got all those questions about IT. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Miss Tracy Record, who is saying Mac is media access control address, not to be confused with an Apple Mac. As a Mac user myself at home, I was a little bit confused, but just to add some clarification, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Tracy. So Rashay, take us through what the arrival to St. Augustine is going to look like.
Yes. I'd
And
be
the
happy
rest of the
to.
day.
Yes, I just want to add one more thing for the one stop when you go, when your residents go to pick up their keys, they're also going to pick up their parking unloading pass at that residence life desk. So you're going to get two things from that residence life desk. It's going to be your key and also your unloading pass. But when you get to campus, when you're on King Street and you're looking for parking, you're going to find the campus service lot and the 95 King parking lot. We will have signs and we will have people in red volunteer shirts, so you will not miss us. You will not miss those parking lots. Both parking lots will sit on King Street directly. It's going to be a right turn into both parking lots. We will have people letting you know if campus service lot is full, you need to go down a little further to 95 King. So definitely there will be signage and volunteers out there to help direct you. So when you get to those parking lots, you will receive a one-stop parking pass. So that is 2 parking lots and 2 parking passes that you will receive. That that one-stop parking pass is going to be for 45 minutes because like Don said, you can get there early so you can handle all business that you need to handle with all the different offices. So that 45 minutes and that 45-minute parking pass gives you that time. The volunteers will be there to help you fill out the information needed. We're going to just ask for that resident's first and last name, room number, and a contact number so we can give you a call. We will have a flow of people, like Don mentioned earlier. We will have 5 slots of people moving in. So we definitely want it to be a flow. So you will have that pass in that time. So when you leave out of those parking lots and you are headed to your residence hall, you are ready to unload, you have your pass, you have filled it out inside the one stop, and you are ready to get where you need to go. If you are going to be parking in the campus service parking lot, you're going to be exiting from the rear of that parking lot, and that's going to take you to La Quinta Place. Also, before I go deep into all of this, when you get here, you will be able to type the buildings into the GPS and it will give you this route that I am about to tell you guys right now. So like we've been saying, like we're giving you a lot of information, but we also will have it on the GPS for you when you arrive. But when you exit from the rear, you'll be on La Quinta Place. And from La Quinta Place, you will then make a right onto Riberia Street. Once you're on Riberia Street, you then will be able to go straight across. You will be crossing over King Street, and you will run right into the Flagler College tennis courts where there will be a directional sign. That directional sign is either going to be pointing right for our Ponce Lewis residents or pointing left for our Bear FEC residents. Leaving that lot as well, if you are a Cedar or a Sebastian House resident, you will then make a right onto Kings Road. So if remembering Riberia, King Street, then you're going in the right direction. So for Cedar, you will make a right onto King Street, which will then lead you to Granada Street and then onto Cedar Street. And if you're going to Sebastian House, then you will make a left onto King Street, which will then take you to South Ponce de Leon Highway, and then it will lead you. You'll be making that left into the Flagler Sebastian House. You'll see it'll be a white sign, but we will also have volunteers in our red shirts directing you with signs showing you exactly where to go.
So those not familiar with our street names or kind of some of the things that we may be a little bit familiar with, they'll see lots of Flagler signs all around the roads. And then the big thing is going to be looking for those volunteer red shirts
Yes.
that will be
You will
kind of
also
stationed throughout.
Yes, you will also see volunteers in some gold shirts. So those are the people that you see on the webinar right now, and a few other lead volunteers. So we will have plenty of people directing you, and along with our volunteers, we will have 4 SAPD officers located in around campus in different areas by the residence halls to also help direct you, help you cross streets, and all of those things, just to make sure that we are safe and we know exactly where we are going. So students or residents who will possibly park in 95 King parking lot, that is going to be the same direction. We're exiting out of that parking lot onto King Street. If you're going to Cedar Hall, you're going to make a right, go to Granada, go to Cedar. If you're heading to the FEC Abear area or the Ponce Lewis or even Sebastian, you're going to make a left. This is out of the 95 King parking lot. So remember, I said 2 parking lots. And then so from King Street, you can get to Riberia. You can make a right onto Riberia, where you will run into that directional sign by the tennis courts, which will lead you whichever way you're going for your particular residence hall. So what happens when you're done unloading? You get 15 minutes to unload at your residence hall. Remember that parking pass. You'll be able to fill that out in one stop, but you'll have 15 minutes to unload. We will have lots of volunteers helping to move all of your items. They're going to be in those red shirts again. Those red shirts are who you're looking for. And we also will have some alumni in some gray shirts. They'll be all the same. So you will be able to recognize all of our volunteers and know who is helping you out. But once you unload, you will then leave that particular parking lot, and you will then move your car to the FEC parking garage. Also, again, like I said, you can type that in on your GPS and it will guide you to the garage from where you are. All of our families, you all will be able to park on the second, third, and fourth floor of the parking garage. We are asking that it be 1 car per family. We do have a lot of people coming, moving in. We're doing it one day. So we need all of our parking spaces. So 1 car per family. And we also, we will not be permitting U-Hauls. We just are not able to accommodate that. So we are not going to be able to permit that. But
so we really got to think about what we're packing and what's really going to be important. I mean, I always am fascinated when I see what people are unloading from their cars. But just to kind of review and clarify,
yes.
we're kind of asking family members to park 3 different places when they arrive, but that's so
Correct.
that they are nearest to where they need to be at that moment, and then kind of clearing everything out for that next group. And so we'll ask them to park for the one-stop shop, pick up that key, then they'll be parking for a very limited time near their residence hall to unload, and then they'll be finishing the day recommended out at the FEC parking garage.
Correct. That is correct. And then after move-in, so once you all are settled.
In the event that someone accidentally brings 2 cars.
I mean, we do have a question about that, so it was coming.
Right, okay. In the event someone accidentally brings 2 cars, what do they do in that situation?
That's a great question. So what they're going to do is they're going to have that. I'm going to assume that second car is most likely the student's car. So what they're going to do.
Great question. It's like you read the Q&A.
What they're going to do with that second car is they're going to take that car directly to the FEC parking garage, go ahead and park that car and be settled. So you can then just deal with the 1 car. So you can park at the 1 stop and then go to your unloading for the residence hall.
Kind of do a little swap out
Correct.
during the day.
Yes.
And I know this was something I thought of today, is typically the family member is driving and the student is in their car or another car, and we ask the family member, hey, welcome to Flagler. Where are you going? What's happening? And we get, I have no idea, my student's in the other car. And so really trying to coordinate that arrival to the one-stop shop.
Yes, and we definitely want the student in the car for unloading, especially because their information will be on that unloading parking pass.
So we have quite a few questions about people who may be here in town early. They just happen to be in St. Augustine or be by Flagler. Can they do anything early, like an ID card? Can they move in early? Can they get their key early? What is that protocol looking like?
So unfortunately, we cannot accommodate any earlier than the 45 minutes, for a multitude of reasons. One, we have a set number of people moving in each time slot, and so that's what we base our volunteers off of. And then also going back to the overview, when you hear me go over the slots and everything, FEC, Ponce first, that is where our volunteers will be. And so if you're trying to move into Lewis, we don't have the individuals there yet to welcome you home. And so we really ask that you stick to the slot. If you are in town early and you want to talk to some of the offices early and you're not parking at the one-stop shop parking lot prior, say you're at the Casa Monica, that's where you're staying, that's where your family's staying, and you want to walk over, we're more than happy to allow you to go talk to some of those offices, but you still won't be able to pick up your key until 45 minutes prior.
And I think the bigger question that we're seeing is families wanting to get that student ID beforehand. And I actually would ask that everybody does wait for that one-stop shop day for the ID card, because our security team does upload all those students into the system to make that transition a bit more seamless and a bit quicker, so that it's not taking up a whole lot of time. And so it's a pretty manual process if they're not uploaded in the system beforehand. But I definitely think, as Dawn said, if there's any other offices that you wanted to connect with on that Thursday, making appointments, reaching out to them to see if they could maybe chat, dive a little bit deeper into some topics with you, so that move-in day is really all about moving in. What if somebody has a flight that comes in during their assigned move-in time? What can we do it for them?
Yeah, so the student can log on to their eRes Life profile, which is where they filled out their housing application. And we have a change of time request form for incoming students that they could fill out. We just ask that they provide the documentation, flight, whatever it may be, as to why they need to change their times. And then we'll review it and then send them a response of if it's approved or not.
I mean, more likely than not, if it's due to a flight, I mean, we're going to accommodate that.
Yeah. And then the parking permits, I know we've been talking about parking passes and then parking permits. And so Rashay, can you just talk a little bit about how the parking passes for move-in day will specifically work? And then we'll make sure that we address the question about the parking permits that get affixed to the car.
Right. So when you all arrive and you are parking either at the campus service lot or a 95 King parking lot, you will be greeted by a volunteer who will then hand you a parking pass for one stop, and that is the 45-minute parking pass. Then when you are in the one-stop shop, you will then get your key and your unloading parking pass. They will be two totally different colors, so that's going to also help out a lot. And so when you get that parking pass from the one stop, that is what's going to allow you into your parking lot for your residence hall to unload.
And so we do have somebody, and I hope I'm interpreting this question correctly, that if they park at one stop shop and then they leave, but let's say they want to come back within the 45 minutes,
Within their 45.
within the 45 minutes, we would have parking available at the one-stop shop for them. I think it's going to kind of be like any other parking lot, that if you leave during a high traffic time, like we are anticipating all of those people. And then will there be enough parking in the lots for everybody unloading? You want to chat about what that looks like?
Yes, so that is the reason behind the time limit on unloading, because we want to ensure that everyone has enough time to unload their items, and then go ahead and move the car. Then you guys can get together and decorate, get everything settled. But yes, there will be enough parking, because as people are, the first set of people will come, unload, they'll exit, and then we'll start letting our other people come in. Of course, we have planned for overflow, so we do have those options. So we have planned out the logistics, but definitely there will be enough parking for everyone, and there will be people assisting and directing you in the right place.
And so there may be some waiting in their car, but we are working with the city, with our local police department, with all of our volunteers. I like to say that y'all get to sit in the AC in the car while we're waiting for a parking spot to open. Whereas as volunteers, we may stop by to say hello to get some of that AC from those windows. But just to know that we are trying to turn over those parking lots as quickly as possible, which is why those time slots are so important to go by. And then just to make sure, since we're talking about parking passes and then parking permits, when the student picks up their little decal, they will explain to them exactly where to put that on their car, and how to put it on their window so that it stays there. And then the one-stop shop again is at our student center. It'll be both floors, and the students will be receiving information about all of that. Will that be in the email that's tomorrow? Or will that
So
be a separate one?
tomorrow's email will be more of the general move-in. We will send a one-stop shop the second week of August. With all the information. We wanted it a little away from this email just so you had time to process both of them.
Okay. Is there anything else that y'all wanted to make sure that you covered before I go through some of these questions? These are really great.
Yes, I have a few more things. So, my two last points: after moving, after your families have given the hugs and the kisses, see you later, I'll see you Christmas. Um, the RAs will be hosting a floor meeting at 6 p.m. They will have flyers posted already prior to your arrival about location, because it could either be in your hallway directly or in the lobby. So just make sure you have either connected with your RA, or that you are looking out for that flyer on your floor to see the location of the hall meeting. And then directly after that, we will be hosting a pajamas, a PJs and pancakes party for you all. We'll be decorating sleeping masks, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. You can't go wrong with pancakes. So that's how we will be ending our move-in day.
And I just wanted to mention two things real quick. One, those hall meetings are mandatory for the students. So they are required to go. It is not an optional meeting. It's really an opportunity for them to learn about the rules and regulations, start to build their community and go over community standards with each other as a group, as a hall. And then the other thing is when you get into your room, on the back of the door, there is a list of QR codes, and one of them is to submit facility requests. We ask that if you want to rearrange the furniture, if you want to move things around, that you wait for your roommate to get there and you all have those roommate or roommates and have those conversations together. It is a shared space, and we want to ensure everyone has an opportunity to build what their home will be together. And if you do have bunk beds, please do not take them down yourselves. If you want them unbunked, we do require our facilities department to do it, and so that's where that QR code is. We will have facility individuals walking around helping that day. For not only that, but for any other facility issues we may run into. And so please just use that QR code. And then remember, when you're decorating, please do not use command strips, blue putty, no drilling, hammering into doors, walls, anything. We just want to keep our halls in good condition.
So
We
no
want you to decorate, but
HGTV remodels happening.
yeah.
or build outs. So quite a few questions. I really like this question because I think it goes to our 1 car per family. Is sending things ahead of time to campus. And so what can we share with our families about that?
So our mail services department, which is conveniently located in the campus service building, they are accepting packages starting August 12th. And so if you go to their webpage, the mail services, Flagler College, they have step-by-step, and Dr. Cherry posting a link.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna post a link.
Dr. Dre's gonna post a link step-by-step of the address, where to find your campus mailbox number, when they can start accepting packages. All of
August
that will
12th,
be
yeah.
on this link. I would also reach out to them. They are very helpful. Just chat with them. They can accept packages of all sizes. And the campus mailbox number can be found on their My Flagler. So you can start getting things. The 12th, I always recommend come with minimal and then purchase as needed when you get for the room. I know we're all excited. We want to bring everything we have at the house in our room. But just come with the essentials, and then you can order things on Amazon. There's a Walmart, there's a Target. We're doing runs to Target that weekend where you can buy some of those more fun items, or the oops, I forgot this item. And
Quite a few questions about bed risers. And
Mhm.
so what can we provide for them?
Yeah, so bed risers are permitted on unbunked beds. So you can't put a bed riser on a bunk bed. But unbunked beds they can be up to 12 inches. And the only other regulation we have, they cannot be the ones with the outlets in them. They just have to be your standard bed riser. Usually the square ones work best for our ones. I know there's some curved ones, some circular ones, the square ones, because all our bed posts are square.
And we do not provide the bed risers, but the beds are also adjustable. And if you would like your bed adjusted, you can put in that work order using that link on the back of the door that Don mentioned.
And you had also mentioned hanging stuff on the walls. And so command strips, putty, tape, what are we able to use?
Yeah, so command strips, blue putty, the Gorilla Tape, that is all not permitted.
No duct
Nails,
tape.
yeah, no duct tape, nail screws. If you are going to use anything, we do recommend painter's tape. That prevents the paint from peeling, from chipping. And so that's what we would recommend. The painter's tape, primarily the like the tannish khaki color one, not the blue one. Because you have to think, you put a poster up, it may be up for 10 months. You want to ensure that we're not doing anything with dyes in it.
What about rugs? Any specific size that you recommend? Or like you said, do you wait to see what the space layout looks like?
Yeah,
I recommend waiting, primarily because you want to see what the space looks like. You want to see how your furniture is going to be arranged first. And so if I give you a dimension of a room right now and it's with the beds bunk and you all decide to unbunk the beds, that's going to take up floor space. And so if you're going to bring a rug, I recommend waiting until you get here, arranging the room with your roommate or roommates, and then deciding what is the appropriate size for the rug.
And speaking of roommates, it's definitely great to connect with them and see who's bringing what. Shower rods. Do all the halls come with shower rods?
Yes, we provide the shower rods, but either one roommate, one suite mate has to provide the shower curtain and the hooks.
Okay. And so bed risers are not provided. Those are things that students and families would have to purchase on their own. Floor plans, or dimensions of the rooms. I know Ponce is so unique, and so there's nothing that's ever the same. Some of our other residence halls have similar rooms. How can students find out about that?
We can provide floor plans via an email. We will not be able to provide any dimensions though of spaces. And so we will be able to provide floor plans if the student has to email us from their Flagler email to residencelife@flagler.edu. And it has to come from a Flagler email for us to release that information. We just want to ensure we're protecting the privacy of the students before releasing floor plans to, anyone from a Yahoo or a Gmail account.
And what about the walls? Are they brick, drywall?
Yeah, so in our Lewis and Cedar, we have sort of that like cinder block type material. In all our other residence halls, they are drywall. But the painter's tape works perfect in all of our halls.
Riche, we've got some really great questions and I'm excited for the answer to this one because I know it, but I want you to be able to share it. For those families that are bringing a whole lot of stuff or just really anything, will we have carts or things to assist families with getting from their car to their room or, up and down floors?
Yes, we will be able to provide carts. They are actually collapsible, so they will definitely fit in those elevators, and we will have our volunteers rolling them around, coming up to your car, saying, "Hey, what's your room number? Do you need help? Let's pack your stuff in the cart." But definitely, we will have those carts available for you all as you are moving in.
I do want to add that our carts may be limited, so I think the more that you can handle carrying up the stairs or using the elevators would be great. Just because I don't want you to kind of depend on a cart being available when you're ready to be there, but we are going to try to provide as many carts as we can. But we just don't want you waiting a long time while we're waiting on a cart.
I just want to add some clarification. And so for hanging things on the wall, gray putty is permitted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But sticky tack, is that the same or different
Sticky
than?
tack is not, really the only things that you can utilize are those painter tapes and the gray putty.
We've seen the other materials really damage the walls, take off significant amounts of the paint, causing significant damage. And what we're trying to do with this is to prevent you from damaging the building and likely being charged for those damages as well. So I think the smarter you can be with respect to the materials that you are hanging, how heavy they are, and the materials that you are using to hang those items, just be wise and cognizant of the texture of the wall and what you are hanging and what you're using to hang those items with.
And
Riche, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
sorry, I
Dylan.
was gonna say two things that we often see. Cedar and Lewis, the walls are painted, so even if you're like, oh, it's cinder block, it will rip off the paint, those command strips, those heavier things. And what we are seeing the most are those LED strip lights that people are hanging around the windowsill, around the ceilings. Every single one will rip off some sort of paint. So I know they look great, I know they look cool, but please don't bring them. Or if you do, just don't hang them with the adhesive that comes with it. Just wrap some painter's tape, in the little circle behind it and use that to hang it up instead.
Yeah, we've seen them cause significant amounts of damage. I will just add, there are some really cool disco lights that you can put in lamps and stuff. If you're looking for some alternatives to the LED lights and hang them around like
Yeah,
your
we're gonna have to check
TV
these
or
out.
something like that. So, yeah.
Riche,
If you are
can
going
you
to
talk
use those
about?
lights, maybe just refrain from putting them on the walls.
Yeah, trash, recycling, on move-in day, but then also just, this is their home, so what does that look
Yeah,
like?
right. So
Go ahead.
so on move-in day, there will be brown dumpsters at each residence hall. They will have St. Augustine, city logo because it's the St. Augustine City dumpsters, but the brown dumpsters are what we actually prefer you to use when you're unboxing those TVs, you're unboxing anything, and you have that big trash to throw out. We definitely want you to use those St. Augustine dumpsters for move-in day. But like you said, this is your home. We do have trash rooms available in the residence halls. In our Cedar Residence Hall, it's going to be on the second floor.
Yeah, it's been moved.
It's been moved. Oh, okay. So my apologies. Where has it been moved?
Yeah, you're all good. So for the residence halls, Bear Hall has trash rooms on every floor. For our Cedar, the trash room, we actually are asking our residents to take it out to the dumpster outside. There's a dumpster out there all year long, that they will take it out. So there's no trash rooms within the halls anymore. For Cedar, for Lewis, the same thing. We'll have a dumpster out there all year. That is where they'll take their trash. For Ponce, there is a trash chute that they will use on each floor. For Sebastian, we also have a dumpster out there year round, which they'll take it out. In FEC, we have 3 trash areas on the first floor of every tower.
And so you mentioned Cedar. We've got a couple questions about Cedar and when we'll be able to see what that space looks like.
Yes. So we have been working really hard on Cedar all year, getting it all prepped and ready. We will have Cedar available for you to see on move-in day. We are very excited about it. We are doing some final prep, some final beautification of the hall, making it look great. We've added some study rooms, and we are just finalizing a few of the last minute beautification aspects of Cedar that will be great for you all to enjoy this year.
So keep an eye out for that. Also, none of the windows in our residence halls open, correct?
Correct. And
Okay.
we ask that you don't find a way to open them, please. They are closed mostly because of our AC units, and to ensure that our halls are not getting humid or letting outside air in.
And we live in Florida. We need that AC. We need that air. Yes. And I know this has been brought up a couple times. And so unfortunately, the downtown city of St. Augustine does not have recycling. And so therefore we don't have recycling that we can provide for our students. However, many of our students are working with our innovation center as they're doing a lot of the water bottle reusable thing with their 3D printer. And so they're connecting. We've got a couple different clubs and organizations that are working on some swapping of items and things like that. But unfortunately, we do not have any designated recycling spots that are on campus. I know we are getting close to the end of this, so I'm going to try to look through some of these questions and see if there's anything that we can really get to. We do have a couple questions for those that are looking to still make class changes or working on their schedules. Please reach out to our case office or your case advisor specifically, cace@flagler.edu, and you can absolutely chat with them about your schedule and what that all looks like. If you're going to be in town the day before move-in and you want to see if they can meet with you, that might be a good idea as well. As a quick reminder, mailbox numbers can be found in my Flagler. This will also help with sending items ahead of time. I believe on our mail services website, they'll go over if there's any sort of limitations for what can be sent ahead of time, like size-wise or anything like that. We've got some questions on meal plans and dining. And so if they've got questions about gluten-free meals, working on specific dietary needs, nutrition needs, and things like that, our dining services is amazing, and they really like to meet with the student to make sure that they can provide the specific accommodations for the students. And so what's the best way for them to reach out to dining services?
Going to Campus Dish will have not only the main dining services contact, but also the dietitian. And a lot of the resources they have on what they provide for different dietary restrictions, allergens. A lot of that information can be found there, as well as the contact information for the general manager, the manager of the pod markets, the dining hall, as well as the dietitian. And then that's also where you'll be able to see the meals for the day, the week, at the different locations and plan out, what you're eating.
The pancake dinner, will we have any gluten-free options for that night?
Yes, we will definitely have some gluten-free options for the PJs and pancakes.
Okay.
So thank you for that question.
Yeah, and meal plans begin when?
Meal plans will begin on Saturday. And then the dining dollars are generally active the following week. So what you're using at the pod, the bistro, all of that, they do have to load it up as one lump sum, and so they try to do that around the first day of classes. So although our pod and bistro will be open over the weekend, you'll just have to use cash or card if you want to utilize it during those times.
And so I think this is a good question to ask is families are wondering if they'll need to clean the room prior to move-in, or will they have time to clean the room before move-in? What do you recommend for that?
So our housekeeping staff will fully clean the rooms. And then our residence life staff, so both our RAs as well as our professional staff do check all the rooms prior to ensure the rooms are clean, ready to go, free of facility issues. And so you will not have to do any cleaning when you move in, prior to move in. The only time you'll have to clean is after move in. So residents are responsible for the daily, weekly, and monthly cleaning of their residence hall rooms, as well as prior to winter break, because our housekeeping staff, the next time they'll go in to clean the spaces will be after closing in May.
All right, so we're gonna do kind of like a lightning round of some really quick questions that we'll be able to answer. And so there is no cost for laundry, so students will not have to worry about bringing anything for that. Paying for textbooks, that would be all through our bookstore. You can also connect with financial aid and student accounts to see what that looks like. We are a smoke-free campus, and so that does include vaping and cigarettes. That includes in the residence halls, outside the residence halls on campus, anywhere in campus.
As the Dean of Students, I'm also going to add that we are a marijuana-free campus as well. Even if state law changes federally, we have to maintain a stance that marijuana is not permitted within the residence halls or on campus.
Including medical marijuana, regardless of prescription status.
All right. Floors and ponds do not have carpet. Do we suggest bringing a vacuum? Yes, absolutely. I think it's probably a good idea, but I feel like a little Swiffer or maybe something smaller that can go in the corner would be
We
good.
see a lot of those.
Yes. Extension cords. I am going to toss this lightning question over to you all, though. Are they allowed?
We permit surge protectors. So surge protectors are permitted, extension cords, and then those little things you plug in the outlet and it'll give you like 6 outlets. Those are not permitted. You need to have a surge protector.
Okay. We do not have ice machines around campus outside of our dining service areas. If the family members, however, it's easier to pack, whether that's suitcases, trash bags, boxes, Costco bins, anything like that that makes it easier. Trunks, I know like that, I feel like that's a rite of passage, as everybody needs a trunk that they come to college with. Bunk beds are adjustable. They can be taken off, and then those beds themselves can be adjusted by height. However, you need to connect with our maintenance crew by putting in a maintenance request. And then, yes, this will be available to review as a webinar. We will post it to our YouTube channel, and we'll make sure that our students get it. As for Welcome Week, because we've got a couple questions that came in for that, students are not required to register for anything ahead of time. We just love to see that they're registering ahead of time, because then we know what to anticipate. Are they excited about it? Are they planning to come? We all love reminders, and so it does send a little reminder that you have pre-registered for the event. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that students will be able to register for those. Our residence halls do have water refill stations. Are they in all of them?
They are in all of them. FEC and Aber, they are in the Commons, which is the building that connects the two. But every residence hall does have a water fill station.
And maintenance requests are done online, and they'll get that QR code where they can submit that, but they can also find that easily on the landing page for My Flagler. Welcome Week and all those events that we've been talking about, where to find out things on campus, is going to be in Saints Connect. We've got elevators in all of our residence halls. We have laundry facilities in all of our residence halls. I am trying to get to all of these as quickly as I can for you all, so then you all feel good about, attending tonight. Let's see, a headboard. I know this is such an Instagram, Pinterest moment. What do we think about bringing headboards?
They are permitted as long as they are not screwed in or permanently attached. All our beds do have headboards. So I will say that there's no headboard. But they would just have to be able to slide on, slide off. You cannot permanently attach them, screw them in, command strip them on, any of that.
Okay, and because our windows do not open, we do not suggest bringing any emergency window ladders in case of an emergency. Students will go through fire drills and know kind of where their point of exit is going to be at. And then the AC that's kept in the residence halls, do students have control of that? Do we know what it's set at?
Yeah, so students will have control over their ACs, in a range, generally, we look to keep our residence halls between 72 and 75. And so if you like your room a little bit colder than that, I do recommend bringing a fan. I love cold rooms, so I always had a fan. But we do try to keep it between 72 and 75, which works very well for our residence halls.
And then with the bunk beds, if they do put those requests in, we will work as hard as we can with our facilities team to get that done on move-in day. We just can't guarantee that it will happen exactly on move-in day. And so we just ask for a little bit of grace, a little bit of patience, but it'll definitely get done within a few days, within a week, for sure. So, all right. I think we did it. This is very exciting. Move-in day is coming. On move-in day for our families, we want you to focus on that time with your student, making sure that they feel comfortable, that you've been able to say goodbye to them. We will not have any other family-specific programs or events that are happening during Welcome Week, but we do want you to save the date for our family weekend, which will take place around September 28th. Is the date that's in my mind. So that weekend, right around there. But taking the time now to talk to them about getting ready, is definitely going to be important. I want to end on a few other important dates. Your students are going to be receiving some different emails with some important information. So having them check their Flagler email is going to be really important. They're going to receive more information about move-in day, the one-stop shop, but also about hurricane prep and what that looks like and what that plan looks like. And so really having those conversations with your student now about where would they evacuate to, because that will be something that they'll be expected to do prior to picking up their key.
And Tara and the families, that form is actually already available in the ERES Life portal. So if they want to take a look at that, they can
Get a head
they can
start on
start.
it. We're giving them a
Yeah.
couple homework things right
Yeah,
now.
so everyone here, you know, FYI, you have access.
Yeah. And then August 23rd is the move-in day. Loving this question and such a fun, positive note, because I love that the students are already thinking about this. How could a student apply for an RA position for next year?
Yes, we are always excited when people are interested in being an RA. So actually, we start advertising and hosting interest meetings in October. So definitely be on the lookout on Saints Connects and throughout the Student Center. We will post flyers, and your RAs will post flyers. So it's going to be all over campus. And on Saints Connects for those interest meetings, we'll host about 3 of them, and then from there you will receive the information on how to apply and where to apply.
All right. And so our next webinar is going to be next week on Tuesday night, August 6th, where you get to meet the president. And so I'm kind of excited. I love his take on how he connects with our incoming families and our incoming students. He's been in this industry for quite some time, has got a lot of experience. And so I think it'll be great for you all to get to meet him as we gear up for, 23, 24 days from now for move-in. Residence life at flagler.edu is going to be the best way to connect with our team. As a reminder, all of these are up on YouTube. And so if you would like to watch the recording again or go over any of the content or see the past sessions, you can check them out at the Flagler College YouTube channel. But thank you all so much to our presenters. Thank you all so much for our families for joining us. It was absolutely wonderful. And I'm glad that we were able to really dive into this topic. So hope y'all have a wonderful evening, a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you next week with the president. Thanks.
Hi, everyone.